Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. What I want to do is kind of start going over the different Go standard libraries and a lot of the sort of the basic functions that you kind of find in any programming language and how they work in Go. So FMT is the library in Go that does a lot of the input-output. So this is like, instead of console.log or print as you see in Python, you have fmt.fprint, fmt. All sorts of different versions of print. But they always start with FMT because when you import a package in Go, the functions in that package then get prefixed with the name of the package. So let's show you an example. So I'm going to create a couple variables. So we're going to say var name equals Alex and var age equals 34. And now we're going to do fmt dot, I think it's the one I want to do now, is fprint. And what fprint does is just print stuff onto the screen. But what it'll do is that you can pass in as many arguments as you want, and it'll automatically put a space between them. So I can be like, hello, my name is, I don't have to put a space there, because I can just do name. And my age is H. Okay, so let's try that out. So let's save that. Go run test.go. Let's give Go a moment to run that. Command line unexpected, expecting type. I think it's because I use the var keyword. So let me try not to use a var keyword. Because it should be able to, if I'm using this, it should imply the type. Okay, so let's try that again. Cannot use hello my name with as an argument string as IO writer. An argument to FMT print. String does not implement IO writer. Missing write method. Interesting. Let me just make sure I put the function name right. So I will go take a look at the Go docs. Okay, is this the right one? Yeah, fprint. Okay, and let's take a look at when they use it. Okay, so they passed in this. So I'm going to need to go grab the OS library, which I'm not going to go over the OS library right now. But basically it looks like you have to pass in this first, which I'm assuming is some sort of input writing object that handles the input-output. So I'm going to comment out the OS library. And let's take a look at this. OS standout. So let's go back to fprint here. OS dot standard output, comma. Okay, let's save, run that again. Cool, so it works. See, the hello, my name is Alex and my age is 34, but there was no space. I thought there was supposed to be a space, but it's okay. So then technically I would have to do this to get the result I want. Run that again. There you go. Hello, my name is Alex. But I put that extra N here. Ooh, I put another N somewhere. There. I keep putting N's. Save. There we go. Cool, but you see it's not knocking it onto the next line. So let's try the next one, which should be fprintf. So this should be pretty much doing the same thing. Let's take a look. Do I need to pass in stand it out again? Yes, except this time I can use interpolation because it has the F at the end. So here I'm using sort of concatenation. I'm just passing in the different. So instead of using a plus sign, I just pass them as different arguments, and it just kind of aggregates or concatenates those strings. Now with printf, I can now use interpolation. And the way interpolation works in Go, not my favorite version of interpolation, but let's go through it. Usually I prefer interpolation, but actually this might be the one language where I don't. Okay. So basically what's going to happen here is I'm going to replace this with a %v, which that means a value. And then I'm going to replace this with a percentage value. And that just means a value of a variable I'm about to mention. So then I say, okay, the first value should be replaced with name, and the second value should be replaced with age. Okay, so if I hit save, let's run the code. And you see I end up getting the same thing. Hello, my name is Alex and my age is 34. But basically when there's these placeholders, percentage %v, there's also other ones like you can do like, there's a bunch of other ones that will give you like the number of bytes or other values that you may want, like the address if it's a pointer. But basically the one you're probably going to be using the most is percentage %v, which just means the value of the variable. So then it takes a look at the first variable passed in, name, replaces v with that. Second one, age, replaces the value with it in there. Okay, and again for these fprint ones, you got to pass in this, input-output writer object first, which is probably why you don't usually see them being used in most like tutorials or for debugging when I see most sort of Go stuff. Okay, so that's fprintf. Okay, and then whenever you see like the print line at the end, that always just means it's going to add a new line. So up till now, you see it prints it and doesn't make a new line at the end. Now when I use this one, so this time it's fprint line. Okay, let me see. I don't think I can use interpolation this time. So I have to go back to concatenation because I don't have the f in the function at the end. It's not that the f does it, it's just their naming convention. So this would be fprintln for new line. Okay, so then in that case, I will replace this again with name. And then I would replace this with age. And then I can delete everything after that. And now what it's going to do, it'll print it on its own line. And see, now it's on its own line and it puts a new line at the end. So whenever you see the line in that print function, it just means add a new line at the end. Cool. Nice. Okay, next. We're going to do a separate video on the scan functions because that means you're taking an input. So then you basically have the same thing with print. The only difference is that with print, you don't have to pass in an input-output object. So here, I'm not going to have to pass in that thing. I don't have to pass in that OS, that standard output. And the only benefit of doing so is that when you do the fprints, the actual function will return the number of bytes printed. So if you wanted to get the number of bytes that you've just printed onto the screen and use it somewhere else, you can use this. So you can see here in the documentation, they're saving it in this variable called n, so you can get that. And then also if there's an error, you can store something in an error variable. Now for printf and printline, which are sort of these do not return the number of bytes, so you can't do that. They just print. Okay, they're purely just for printing something onto the screen or onto the console, and they work the same way. The only difference is if I were to use print. Okay, first we'll use print. Okay, I just don't need this first argument. I would just put that, but I'm going to need to use concatenation. So I go run test, and again, there's going to be no new line and not used OS. Oh, okay. That's right. I'm not using this library now. So let me comment that out. So let's see here. Let's run that. Okay, so it prints it, but again, not on a new line. And then if I do ln for print line, it will do it on its own separate line. So let's save that. Okay, and then there's printf, which doesn't print onto a new line, but now I can use concatenation. So now I can do this again, %v, %v, name, age. So again, whenever that f's at the end of the print statement, you can now use interpolation. Save. Okay, not expecting a comma, or let's see here. Oh, I have to put a comma here. Save. And there you go. I mean, I could add a new line. I just have to do it the old-fashioned way. I'd have to be like, do this. I think it's what? No, I think it's like /n. So then you have to put that character in there, and then that should add a new line at the end, getting the effect that I would want. Yep. See, my name is 34 percentage. Where'd that come from? Probably because of that new line thing for whatever reason. Not going to explore that at the moment. But the point is, like, these are the different ways you can write text onto the screen. Okay, so we went through those. So considering that, I think we have time to do scan. So scan is just going to basically be to take input in. Okay. So first let's take a look just at your normal scan. Okay. Here they don't really show you examples. Okay. Well, let's give it a shot. Okay, so let's say, so I'm going to delete this for a moment. I'm going to delete the variable too. We're going to say var input equals, so we're going to have implied typing. That's what that little operator stands for. And we're going to use fmt.scan. Okay, I think that's the way we would use that. We'll find out in a moment. And then I want to print that input, fmt. I'm going to use print line, so that way it automatically adds the new line. And we'll put input as the argument. And then let's see how this behaves. So I'm assuming it should ask me to enter some input before it runs. So run test go. Unexpected, expecting type. Oh, that's right, because I put var. I just made this mistake a few seconds ago and I did it again. You don't need to put var unless you're actually going to declare the type of the variable. If you're just going to do implicitly type the variable, you just need to do that. Thank you, Go, for reminding me of my mistakes. Okay, assignment mismatch, one variable, but FMT scan returns two values. Okay, so I need to give it two variables. We'll find out which is which. Variable 1, input 2, and then let's print both of them, so that way we see what we're getting. Save. Zero nil. Okay, so that means it's getting it got 0 things back, and or 0 characters back, and the actual string is worth nil. But okay, let's see here. I wanted to receive the input, but it's got to be scanning it from somewhere. So it's giving us the information. It's just not asking us to actually enter in the input. New lines count as space. Returns a interface and okay. So yeah. So the second variable is the error. That's what it's returning. Okay. Scans text read from standard input, storing successive spaces values into successive arguments. New lines count as space. It returns a number of items successfully scanned. If that is less than the number of arguments, error will report Y. Got it. So that's not really useful because it's only going to tell us how many things it scanned. Okay, storing successive space, separated values into successive arguments. Now that I think about this, I think we're going to need that OS library to actually pull in the input from the console. So let's explore that in the next video. We'll go back to the OS library, figure out how to grab the input, and then we can use scan to scan it. So I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.